Ready to hit the pause button on your parenting fails? Ready to feel better about your parenting? Welcome to Parenting Pause, the podcast, where all of you is welcome and where you can listen in on how other parents became the parents they always dreamed of being. I'm Leslie Potter, the founder of the Pure Joy Parenting Way. I'm a mother, a parenting coach, and a fellow traveler on this journey to wake up in our parenting. And I believe together we can make this a better world for ourselves and our kiddos. Today I'm welcoming May, who is the mom of 2 kids, a son aged 7 and a daughter 10. She first came to me because she was struggling with her son's aggressive behavior and her ways of dealing with it weren't working. Growing up in a very strict traditional background didn't give her the skills to work in a more conscious way. Hello, love. I'm so glad that you can join me today.
Hi, Leslie. I'm so happy to be here sharing all the insight that I've been learning through your work.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you were parented.
Sure. I have been raised in the Asian culture in Hong Kong, and my parents has always been very strict with me. Just make sure that I fit into society. Any misbehavior, and they would punish. They will isolate me. They will shame me, so that I have learned how to be a pleaser and not to have my need met, and by just keep giving up myself and just listening, and hopefully they will love me and they will stay with me. But unluckily, my parents, both of them, left me, and I was abandoned. And
How old were you when that happened?
my parents left me, both of them left me when I was 10-year-old. But before 10, I still struggle a lot. I try to purchase their love. No matter how bad I want something, I will not show it. I just acting like it's not there. Yeah, just hopefully they will stay and listen to me, have that great connection that I always hope for. But eventually they left me, so I left with the feeling of abandonment and rejection ever since. And it's the reality that they really did leave me, and I didn't know how to work with it until I found you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and so when you did act out before they left at 10, and let's say you did try to express something or be your own person or not be a pleaser, what would happen?
for example, I always liked long hair, and so my mom always, since it's easier to take care of with their short hair, so every single time she would take me to the salon and cut it the way that she wanted. And even though every single time before I have a haircut, I tell her that I'm not gonna cut it short, and please leave it long. I want it to look girly. And so every single time is not the result that I want. And about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and I got so mad. I just left the salon in the middle of it, and I just walked out of that place and like be a homeless girl for maybe 5, 6 hours. I didn't know where I go, but I was just so frightened, and I just wanted to have the haircut that I want. And I was left alone and so afraid. Didn't want to come home and didn't know how to come home. And of course, finally, when I came home, I got beat up. Like you disrespectful girl and bad girl, and how dare you just walk away like that? And you're never gonna get home when you do it next time. So that's a good punishment right there. And just to express the anger that I have hold it in and how bad I want things the way that I want, and ended up treating that way. So that's one of the memory that I will never dare to do it again.
Yeah, quite a strong memory, and I imagine with your son then being quite the expressive boy that he is, when he began to express out his rage, that must have been quite frightening for you.
Oh yes. Before I know your word, I just want to shut him down. Shut up, don't talk to me this way. You're not allowed. It is very dangerous. I would put him in the room, time out. would not let him express because I wasn't able to express the way that I want. So he has no room for speaking up for himself. I would hit him and ignore him so that he would give up of his desire to be seen or heard the way that he wanted. So I keep that strategy that I had. I thought that can keep him safe, But he just don't listen very well. He just keep going stronger and stronger, and the anger in his face is showing. It just hurt my heart. I didn't know what to do. But I thought that I just want to keep him safe, to have a homely home and no fighting because I have so much fighting when I was in childhood, and I really don't want that in my home. So just be easy, please, and I just want to have peace at home. But no matter what, and doesn't seem going very well. Actually, it's going worse.
Well, it's so innocent, what you're describing, because you were scared as a child, so you wanted to train him to actually behave like you learned to behave. I mean, this is so innocent and beautiful. It's what we all do. And yet your son was living in a different culture, in a different time, with a different mama that actually had probably a little bit of a conflict inside. I remember I told you I'm raising a girl to say no, just not to me. Right? And I imagine you had some of that conflict that, like, you really wanted to raise a boy that could, express himself and share. And then at the same time, you had all this conditioning and this template that in some way wanted to keep him safe, in a very innocent way. It's like, if you could just behave, if you could just please, and make everything calm and safe and peaceful, then we might be okay. So innocent, right?
But do you know how to guide him to express in a way that I can calm down? Because he keeps charging at me. I keep wanting to shut him down, and there's no middle ground there before I know your work.
What began to happen for you? So you came in and, again, we were talking about, oh, this is really intense. And I want parents to know this, especially when there is aggression in the home. Because you are feeling unsafe. So it's a really intense position to be in when you have a young child that is aggressing toward you. So maybe you could speak a little bit about what began to happen for you, like kind of walk us through your transformation to yourself.
It's a long process. I can look through my son's behavior and no longer really focus on his behavior, but I do see that he just wants to be heard, just like the little girl inside of me. And I have been trying to offer myself kindness when I feel my heart's really tight, and I pause a moment and try to listen to her to see, because usually very loud. She's screaming inside, "Yeah, I want it that way, exactly that way." At the same time that my strategy is showing me that she's not allowed. And once I become conscious of knowing that I am the mother now, I'm not the mother that raised me, so I'm different. So I offer my little girl inside of me kindness and to listen to her, not necessarily have to listen to what she wants to do, but just have room for her to express how she wanted and how bad she wants something, the way that she wants. And I become relaxed and calm, and I can see through my son's eyes and have the connection with him, and to listen to him and offer the same kindness that I offer to my inner girl, so that he become calm and me and him just feeling like joined and melt together. Like, I know how bad you want it, I want it too. So, and at the same time, we try to create this lovely relationship where we can speak up of how I want things to happen and how he want things to happen his way, and come into middle ground. And that not necessarily have to be my little girl inside of me exactly the way she wanted. But with negotiation and with love and listening, accepting each other are a little bit different. So I become more relaxed and curious about how do we build this loving relationship. And we go from there. It's just every single time, every situation is different.
Often in parenting, we try to have rules and it has to be this way. And what we work a lot in this process is what we call immediacy, meaning in that moment, as you say, if I can show up in my full presence, first of all, with myself in loving kindness, then I can show up with my son in loving kindness. And as I like to say, it's never about what we think it's about. It's not about the ice cream cone at that moment. It's not about going to whatever restaurant or the food in that moment. It becomes about how you said so beautifully, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you understand me?
Exactly, Leslie. It's not easy. I also have a 10-year-old girl that has learned the same strategy that I have. She is not good at expressing herself. She will be very quiet and just listen to her brother express, and so she learned from there. And now that I have this ground and I can demonstrate her how to express herself in a way that is okay. We all have desire. We all want to express, and it's okay to be heard and to acknowledge her longing for connection too. So my son is actually the one that leading the way and show us how to express our desire, and I am the one that kind of regulating how do we behave in a way that we can be heard and seen, and in a well-mannered way, in an understanding way, without like suppress his desire.
When we first started working early on, you had quite a lot of perfection. You really, really wanted her to perform and be a certain way, especially in school, yes? And
Oh
I know
yes.
maybe you could speak a little bit about that and where you've come with that, like what's begun to relax, what you're seeing with your girl now.
Yeah. I used to focus on her results, like what grade she gets and how well she performs. And when I focus on that, I feel like I'm not seeing the real her. Um, I become very rigid and just wanted to help her to reach the goal that I have for her. So once I feel like I have a goal, then I would just don't have the connection, the relationship with her, because I just want to drive her to make me feel good to reach my goal so that I feel like I'm a good mother. Then conflict becomes to arise when I thought that I was just giving her support to get to where she wants, and um she go away and or hate me or having this attitude, whatever information I support her and she's just like reject me. I don't need that. I don't want it. That's you. It's not me. And then I come back to myself and try to listen to my little girl inside of me. Offer her a safety. It's okay to be where you're at, and you don't need to be perfect. I listened to her, and my little girl inside of me showed me the way of how she wants it before. And then when I go inside of myself, I find the wisdom and I find the real connection that my daughter, how she wanted to. I will be open to ask her how she want me to support her instead of have my idea of how I should be supporting her.
It sounds like you really opened the door to separate out enough to really listen, to say, okay, I need to find out what support looks like to her.
Yeah, usually she would just say that clearly, tell me that, Mom, I just want you to be here, Mom. I've got it. And I just, let's say when she's doing homework, I will try to solve her problem or guide her into solving the equation. But then usually she just tell me that, Mom, I got it. And I just want you to sit there and look at me, just be with me. And she tell me, then of course I felt rejected at that moment.
Right.
But I also hear her express how she want me to show up, and I need to stop right there and really listen to her, tune into her need of how she want me to show up the way that support her.
Right. And it's very, very powerful what you're describing because she's saying she's not rejecting. She's not saying I don't want you here, but she's like, I want your presence and I want you to believe in me that I can do this. And that doesn't mean it won't
Mm.
be hard, it won't be difficult, she won't procrastinate, she won't fall back, all these things are gonna happen as she's learning, but, what I'm hearing her say is, "If you're beside me, and if you're present with me, I have a better chance of knowing myself and being able to
Mm.
share that with you."
That is exactly how I learn on my own too, because I don't like people tell me what to do, and I want people just trusted in me, even though I fail. Just be there and not to laugh at me. Just support me. Don't take me anywhere out of here, because I enjoy this moment because I am the one that makes things happen. So even though she failed, and I now that I trust that is her stepping stone to learn on her own, to trust her own inner wisdom that she can make it, and I just be there for her, really supporting her.
And this
And
is hard to do, isn't it, as a mama? I mean, it's really challenging to do what you're describing, and yet I know you've had such beautiful experience with it and that your daughter is beginning to shine in a new way.
well, by saying that, I sound like I'm all that great. I fall back into my old pattern
Of
and try
course
to
you
control.
do. That's
But
why
I
you're in group, We have these wonderful groups where we just keep reminding each other over and over, right?
right, right. Well, I would see the other woman there doing what exactly I would do when I'm unconscious, so I can see through other and have the middle ground, to watch it and offer this kindness. When I was, being consciously into my habitual pattern, I didn't know what I was doing. But having the group really helped me grow a lot. Yes.
Yeah, it's really powerful to have that beautiful mirror, and as you say, in that kindness, because we all have these habituations. We practiced our habits, right, since we were little, and we've all organized our life not to feel certain feelings and to try to keep our children safe, often by using our old templates. So I want anyone that's listening right now to know that this is, as May said, this is a long process. It's a lifelong process for me. And yet, when we can come together and support each other and see each other for the first time, sometimes in our small groups, it's like being seen and heard and understood for the first time, like you're doing for your daughter. You get that with all the
Mhm.
other mamas. Something, at least in my experience, and I'd love to hear yours, but something begins to change, like a different point of reference for me. I have a different ground now that I can call forth inside of me, but it's come from the deep reflection of all the other mamas and papas.
Right. It's funny how when we're on the page, we have so much kindness and so much love for other, and that I've never experienced that you have that kindness towards yourself and come back. That's what the group are offering to me. And I have the confidence because all the other women showing me they have confidence in me and supporting me. Being in the group, it just cultivate this love that I have for myself too, not only for them. And I start to see that I am lovable. I am accepted however I am.
Well, I know, I've been watching you for the last 2.5 years, and you have just had a massive heart awakening. I would love for you to share how this has kind of permeated not just your parenting, but your whole life. This kind of awakening of the heart energy.
Yeah, at first I come to your work. I wanted to be a better mother, but since I go deeper into my emotional, my feeling body, so I start to investigate my whole life. Like, how do I live a fuller life and not having all the conditions stop me from living the way that I I imagine, then I feel it exists. So I try to investigate every single belief and find a new way in put myself in the relationship.
I have
Mm.
the honor because I get to witness, but I can only tell you it has been such an exquisite experience for me to witness your continued, as you say, release of those old conditionings and to know yourself as you truly are. This just beautiful, beautiful heart and courageous woman.
Yeah, I think for all that barrier, all the suffering that take me to really bring me here, it was so hard. But I just believe that in my open heart, and everything can be softened and have the connection back.
So what would you wanna share? Let's say we have some new mamas on here maybe that are struggling with their kids' behavior and feeling like they're bad mamas and trying so hard. I know everybody that's listening here is trying very hard to come into their consciousness and their awareness, and yet they may be quite lonely and feeling separate. What might you tell yourself 2.5 years ago? What would you want to tell her at this point?
Mm, you're not alone, and just connect to your heart, how you want it to be seen. I know I was very rigid and just keep on doing and just so uptight all the time. I couldn't relax and I just literally overall my whole life was so uptight and how do I get myself here? It's just the love that I have cultivated and just make myself soft and relax and get support out from the outside and I'm not alone and I can't have all this all by myself and support is all over the place and yeah.
That's beautiful, though, and I really want everybody to hear that there really is a lot of support, and often, sometimes we can, hear support as being criticism because we're working so hard, and we're trying so hard, and we're reading every book, and we're, you know, putting every effort we can forth to be the best mamas in the world, and sometimes, as I say, support can come in, it can feel like it's criticism. So I just want to support anybody that's here that's listening to reach out, find your circle, find other beings that are doing the work that you're doing. This is very, I feel, sacred work. I feel it's mandatory work for me, and I know you feel that too, May, that I agreed to come and take my personal responsibility and to do my part to alleviate my own suffering. And that is my service and my gift to the world. So I encourage each of you that may be struggling, some of you may not, but if you are struggling and you're suffering and you're listening today, reach out, make a quick call. You can always go on the Pure Joy Parenting Practice page. That's a free page. We have a great group over there, mamas and papas that just share, and we do lots of inquiry. You're welcome to touch in with us in the group, and you can touch in with me, but reach out and, yeah, know that our hearts are with you. Yeah, well, I just wanna
Mm.
thank you so much for being here today. I bow down to you, May, for the courage
Thank you.
and all that you bring, your delight. You always bring your delight and your beauty and your sparkle, and it's a true gift for me.
You are a true gift to me, Leslie. You saved my life. My life just began after I found you. I was living in hell and locked myself up my whole 40 years. And my life just started with your work. And I just keep digging inside and how do I release myself. And it's just such a great place to be right now.
Thank you to May for joining me today to share her tender heart along with her fierce love for her babes. Parenting Paused is produced by Kim Paletti at Sound Mind Productions. Music by Jan Perchik. You can find the show notes at www.purejoyparenting.com, where you'll get access to the foundational practice of Pure Joy, the safe seat, and find links to relevant topics, as well as a transcription of the show. And if this work inspires you and you would like to practice, come join us in my free Pure Joy Parenting Practice group. You'll find the link in the show notes. Thank you for being here today and listening to the Parenting Pause podcast, your partner and support in finding the joy in yourself and with your children. And remember, if you're about to scream, pause.